Live and on the air.
We're live and on the air.
All right. So I figured since this was our first one, we could introduce ourselves for a while.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, who wants to go first?
All right.
Okay.
Krista. Nice to meet you guys. This is hopefully my last full semester at ASU. I applied for graduation already, so have to pass these classes. No pressure. OGL major. Yeah, it's been an interesting journey for me with ASU. I don't know how you guys are with online. Like Elizabeth said, we have lives that are busy, that we have other things we got to do. So, online allows us that ability to kind of work at our own pace. But for me, it also takes away too from having that classroom interaction where you can just walk up to your instructor if you have a question or an issue and just take care of it right then and there. And there's that, I guess, kind of being able to bounce ideas off your classmates while you're there in person is a different aspect of school that I do miss. So this is cool, but it's still kind of not the same. But I can see why the instructor kind of wants to push it for students. But whatever. I'm just excited to be done personally.
Where do you work?
I work for Starbucks roasting plant up here in northern Nevada.
So
okay, cool.
not like a store, like
so I work in the manufacturing side of it.
Oh, cool. All right. And you're nights, right?
Yeah, regular.
Like Monday through Friday, or what's your shift?
It's Sunday night, 10 to 6:30, and then Friday morning at 6:30 is my. So I have Friday nights and Saturday nights off, which is nice, but still sucks not having a weekend when you're on nights, I guess.
Yeah, no doubt.
And happen to do this.
What do you guys do?
She asked what we do. I work. I have a regular shift, I guess, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. I work at State Farm, so I've been there for 6 years.
Right on.
Wes, what do you do?
I work at Boeing. We make some parts for the Dreamliner, the 787 Dreamliner. I live in Salt Lake City, and I'm going to school online because it just works with my schedule, and it's an OGL. It's organizational leadership. Are we all getting that degree or pursuing that degree right now?
I think so. Otherwise, I probably would have dropped this class already. If it
wasn't. Class required, so.
Yeah, it's required.
Yeah. So, and then Boeing is kind of like Starbucks, where they pay my tuition for me.
Yeah, State Farm too.
That's cool.
Oh, really? They do like 100%?
They're a little different. It's like up to a specific amount per calendar year, and then they'll go above that, but then that's taxed as income. And they just changed it. So I've been a 4.0 student since I've been at ASU, and so I've never had to worry about this, but it's 100% if you get an A or a B, and then I think it's 50% if you get a C. So I don't really know how this is going to shake out for me, but I really hope I at least get a B so I can get 100%.
I think we'll be fine.
I hope so. She hasn't graded anything yet, so I'm not sure how her grading is.
Yeah. I think, I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting tired of writing papers. That's all I do. 6-page papers, 3-page papers, every class, every time.
Oh my God.
I mean, if this is an hour of our time and we don't have to do that, I mean, I'm okay with that.
I would agree. And it sounds like it used to be that way. Like you used to have to submit like a journal or something. Krista, is that what you had to do?
In fall A session, when I took this course, there was no like team meetings like this. It was kind of like a personal reflection on some whatever aspect of leadership that you've experienced in your life, or how it's changed you inside as a person and what you learned from it. And it was all right, but again, it was a lot more writing. There's instructions for this assignment though, for the co-mentoring. Like I was trying to look through the weeks ahead to see like what our team load would be, and like she gave us like 3 questions to answer or discuss during this hour. So
I saw that too.
I have a Word doc open so I can take notes. So I'm just gonna assume she might want notes on those questions also, aside from the video. So
yeah, it said like like provide a few sentences about like how it went or something. I think.
Is that about what you're talking about? What she wants us to do for the video?
Yeah, the deliverables back to her is going to be this, and then it said like a few sentences, and I think she asked us what to, or she told us what to provide, like what we got out of it or something, and
okay,
that's 3 specific questions to discuss, and I have those open.
Yeah, let me know. I'm kind of behind on this one. I was on another class.
Are you taking more than one class, Wesley?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm taking strategic management, and that, holy cow, that
I don't
guy.
think I took that. Is that an elective?
No, it's part of the. No, it's not. It's OGL 355, and
I just took that one.
Did you really?
Dr. Scholar.
Yeah, he's a trip.
I don't remember that class. I've been doing this for a long time though.
He's kind of asshole-ish, like the group I was in, we were putting out like A papers, and he gave us a D on one of them. It devastated us. There was another student like Liz that was like 3.8, like a high honor student, and that D like dropped him. I was like,
oh no,
are you serious? And he's like, you had a lot of good things to say, but you really didn't quite make answer the rubrics. We're like, what the hell?
Yeah, he's not very nice. He sent me an email today. It was not very nice.
Oh my gosh, that sounds terrible. I do not remember taking that class.
I'm only like three classes away from graduating after these 2 classes.
Me too. That's
really?
where I'm at. Yeah, but I only take one at a time, like one every 6 weeks, so I won't be done until the first semester of fall.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take summer, like maybe just take a couple in the summer, and then I'll take maybe a couple, one or in the fall, and I'll be done.
Have you planned your capstones yet?
No, am I supposed to start that?
Well, so it's the pro seminars, and you can only take them in consecutive order, and it has to be A and B. You can't do like B and A. They have
so you're doing the pro seminars. I think you can choose those ones, or the OGL 481 and 480.
It's the same. It's the same class.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they just renamed it.
I have those. So advising told me that I could apply for graduation for spring, so long as I'm registered for whatever session or semester you have your pro seminars. So I signed up for summer.
So did I.
For A and B, and then I have 3 classes only because I needed like a 1 credit elective for this one. So as long as I pass these classes, I can graduate in May, and then I just have to do my capstone in the summer. So if that makes sense.
That's exciting. I can't wait at that point.
I applied for graduation for fall because I have to take 1 class. I have to take Business 343 spring or fall A. And then I'm going to fly back to Phoenix because that's where my husband's from. And that's where we met, and we lived there for a while. So we're going to go back, and I'm going to walk and do the whole thing.
It's exciting. I was expecting to graduate this summer, but I don't want to take 4 classes. So I wasn't expecting to walk at all, but now that I'm kind of debating it, I might.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
I want to walk. I'm flying down too.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I think we're all like non-real college aged, but I'm excited to go do that with all the children that'll be there.
All right, so I got this thing open here. Let me see if I can.
Wes, do you know what time we actually started this so we can have a countdown?
Yeah, 7:30. 7:30.
Okay. Oh no, it's been 9 minutes. Okay.
9 minutes.
Okay, so did we kind of finish introductions? Did you guys want to do an official
I can do a little bit more if we if we want to. So I am Elizabeth. I work at State Farm. Like I said, I've been there for 6 years. I am in April going to be starting a new development opportunity, kind of in IT. Right now, I'm in workforce management. I've been in workforce management almost the whole time. And I really do like it, but I'm hoping to kind of get some more experience. And that opportunity ends the same week that I finish school. So I'm really hoping that kind of leads me to a position, because not having a degree definitely sucks, and it's hard to move on and move up without it. So despite high school me thinking I would never need one, here I am. I'll be 28 when I finally graduate, but that's all right.
You're doing good.
Taking me long enough. So yeah, I live in Bloomington, Illinois, which is the headquarters of State Farm. But I lived in Phoenix from 2012 to 2016. Met my husband there, and then we moved back here to have a kid. And then I got pregnant real quick, and now I have a 14-month-old. So it's fun. It's busy, but it's a good time. So yeah.
Cool.
And I'm training for the triathlon, which is going to be really hard to do all this at the same time, but we'll make it work.
We'll make it work. I think if we can just do this 1 hour thing once a week, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
The coursework is kind of a lot, but it's not at the same time. At least we don't have to spend a bunch of time writing papers. So.
Have you guys started the quote thing yet?
Yeah, I did that.
You did it already?
Yes.
How long do you think it took you to do that?
A day. I can kind of show you. I could send you guys like a template of what I'd used after this if you want. Have you done it, Krista?
No. Doesn't she kind of send instructions or some kind of?
Yeah, there is a template in there. I'm just wondering. I'm trying to gauge how long it's going to take me to do that tomorrow.
It took me quite a while. I think it took me about 4 hours, 4 or 5,
Yeah.
4 hours.
All right, maybe next time I won't wait till Sunday to do that one.
Thought of St. Patty's Day. It sucks.
I know. Well, I'm sick anyway, so I couldn't have gone out. But man, if I weren't, I'd be not so pleased. Oh no, did we lose Wes?
I see him.
I see him, but he's.
Well, okay. So does my video turn off if I toggle into my Word doc?
No, I don't think so.
You'll see me.
Uh-oh. Where's Wes? He's recording.
It looks like he froze.
Hold on, I'm gonna move.
You're back. You're back.
Am I back?
Froze.
You're back.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna move and see if I can get a better signal. I think it was because I was in my basement.
No problem.
I have kids and they're just running around like crazy. All right. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
That took a whole minute off our time.
We got a nice tour of your house.
Thanks. Yeah, we're remodeling. Sorry.
Oh gosh, that sounds terrible. We did that with our house in Mesa. I'll never do that again.
Yeah. Buy new.
No, I bought this house was a custom build in 2006, and it's everything I needed. I didn't have to touch a thing.
That works.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess a little bit more about me is I have kids. I go to school. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. What else? I have 4 days off a week. I work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Are you 312s then?
Yeah, so I go in at like 4 in the morning, 4:45 in the morning, and then I get off at like 5:30. But by the time I get home, it's like 6:15.
Oh my
So-
goodness. So do you commute then too?
What's that?
You commute then too?
Yeah, it's like 35 minutes away, 40 minutes away. So,
Yikes.
but the thing is it's good because Boeing, like, they pay me for 40 hours, but I only work 36, and I get
That's
40
really
off.
nice. And my father-in-law works for Boeing too. Do you get like the 2 weeks off at Christmas and all that
Oh
kind of
yeah,
stuff?
yeah, the stand down. Yeah. It's
So
all,
awesome.
yeah, I cannot believe they do that.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's really cool. My father-in-law works on the Apaches in
Yeah, he's in
Phoenix.
Tempe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would love to work on those.
So
Um,
cool.
all right, well, I guess that's good then. So I'll read this first one, this 1.2a. It says, please speak about your own concerns, fears, or misgivings about becoming a better leader. And she says that this is just between us, basically, and to maintain confidentiality. They focus your efforts in different and discuss challenges and frustrations that direct you to that you could predict. Sorry, can't see. So basically, we need to talk about fears or misgivings about becoming a better leader.
I'll start. So I've had like tons of jobs. Obviously, I'm sure all of us have. And I think the thing that I guess scares me the most is just being a boss and not actually being a leader. Like losing that side of me, like when I finally get in that position. Because there are so many bad bosses. And I'm sure you guys have had that experience. Just so many people that I don't know if you guys have seen the image. It's kind of floating around Facebook right now of it's like a guy on like a chariot telling everybody to go. And then on the other side, there's a guy leading the chariot and is like, this is leadership versus being a boss and whatever. And I don't know. I worry about actually being a leader versus just being a boss and like a manager. And I definitely don't want to be that. Are you guys actually interested in like in leadership positions?
Yeah, I am too. I am also, and I think I understand what you're saying. It's kind of like it's really easy to be like in my position right now, I'm a team lead, but at the same time, I kind of look at like some of the guys that don't have to worry about those positions, and I kind of envy that because they just come in and do their job.
Yeah, worry about yourself.
Yeah, and they just worry about themselves and they just do their job and they leave. But at the end of the day, I want to make more money, and those are the positions that pay more money.
Right.
And yeah, what you were saying is basically followers can be leaders by being the ones pulling the chariot, right? That's
Right.
the point of that. Another thing that I'm fearful of is staying competent as a leader because you have to know so much, and especially in the insurance industry or any manufacturing, especially manufacturing, you have to always know the right steps to take. And that one moment where you don't, then your competency can be looked down upon, by others. And that's kind of my fear.
Yeah, and especially as a leader, you're put under a microscope by all your direct reports. That any kind of misstep is also a big fear. Anything you do wrong and kind of have to act at the drop of a hat. I know I've gone into managers' offices and kind of thrown them a curveball. That just happened yesterday, and the manager I talked to like handled it so like with such ease. And I remember leaving thinking like, I really hope I'm that kind of guy. Like I hope I'm that kind of leader. Krista,
Yeah.
you didn't seem too interested about actually being in a leadership position in the future.
So I'm kind of torn. I feel like if I were put in a situation where I was asked to step up, that I could, it probably wouldn't be on my own desire. Personally, I want my own business. I would prefer a sole proprietorship, at least for the time being. But I do quality work in manufacturing, so we're quality assurance. It's a whole lot of responsibility and very limited authority. But
Yeah.
we're considered indirect leaders, so we're kind of held under that same microscope that leadership and management is held under. It's we do one thing, that's someone doesn't agree with or interprets a different way, and all of a sudden we're getting pulled to the side and talked to. Like I'm just trying to do my job and go home like them, but they don't see it like that. I'd agree with you. I'd worry about, if I were in that position, being just that authoritarian, go do this, do that, instead of being a leader that people respect and have a willingness to follow, because they see where you came from and the things that you do, that you have their back. I mean, again, all of us have had a good boss versus bad boss experience, and I have the cool opportunity to work with some awesome people in leadership that started from the bottom. You know, they started as a temp, and then they worked their way up to an operator, and then they worked their way up to a senior operator, and then, you know, supervisor position. And just being able to see people like that around you grow, it kind of gives you, I guess, a better sense of direction for that type of position. I kind of worry for myself. I've always done things a little independently, just kind of do my own thing. And I fall on my ass quite a few times. I just seem to have to learn things the hard way, right? So obviously I failed this course before, and here I am again. And I guess my biggest fear would be leading a team to their demise because of a bad decision that I made.
Oh yeah, totally.
I can handle that. Like I can handle failure on my own, because I do what I got to do to get up and take care of it. But I just feel like if I were in that type of position and had a team that was dependent on me and I failed them, it would just be devastating.
Totally valid fear. Yeah, absolutely.
I totally understand what you mean about like quality being a tough gig, because we work with quality hand in hand, and
they suck,
it's always right? Like them doing the what was that?
They suck, right? They want all this stuff.
Yeah, they want, you know, it's almost like, you know, it's production against quality 100% all the time. Yeah. And quality is just doing their job. They're maintaining a quality product. That's what they do. That's their job. That's why they're there.
Yeah.
And it's like a constant battle. And it takes a strong person to be in quality. Because you're constantly getting beat up by production managers, and like, hey, we can't stop. We gotta. This is a business. We gotta sell these things that we're making. You know.
Yeah.
But that's what I was saying about being competent. Like, if you're known as the quality person that kind of lets things slide, then no one's gonna trust you. You know. So.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I'm kind of the bad guy. We don't have physical deliverables like you guys do, but I actually automated our quality process. So I like cut a lot of responsibilities from other people, not actually people's jobs, but cut a lot of things for other people. So in my world, it was huge efficiency gains, but it's, you know, less responsibilities for other people. And if you guys know anything about State Farm, or if you've heard anything about State Farm, it's not a great place to be right now. There's a lot of cuts, a lot of layoffs, and it's
really, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, it's like my husband might even lose his job from it. I'm safe, but he's not. My parents are. One of them already got completely like demoted, and the other one still isn't sure whether or not. I mean, my mom doesn't know if she's going to have a job pretty soon, so. It's a bad place to be. I'm sorry.
Your whole family work there?
Oh yeah, State Farm is a whole family affair. I mean, I live in the corporate headquarters, so everybody's here. I met my husband on his first day in the company, and then it's kind of, you know, history from there. But
so well, at least if you get your degree, it won't. Hopefully, you'll have that in your pocket. You know, if something does happen.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing so many budget cuts and stuff. I'm hoping that I'm done by the time they quit tuition reimbursement, because I imagine they'll give that up soon. But yeah. Digressing a little,
those are kind of the first things to go, huh?
Oh man, they're making us pay for utensils now at like the cafeteria, and cups, like paper cups, like we have to pay for those now. Yeah, it's not a great place to be. Considering kind of the roots that we have, it's I don't know. It's just not a great place. But a lot of that is due to bad leadership. What they're doing right now is exactly all of this. We've got people that have been there for decades that get paid way too much, and now we're top heavy. And we had a $1.7 billion underwriting loss in 2016, 1.8 in 2017. So they're having to, make all these changes, and we have a new CEO that nobody really trusts. So it's just bad leadership all around, which I think motivates me even more to like really truly be a transformative leader, which I'm sure you guys know all about and stuff. Like that's the leader that I want to be. I want to actually develop people and do all that. So I guess to kind of bring it full circle is that would be my fear also, is that I end up being like transactional or authoritarian or something rather than really like transformative and stuff.
Yeah, I was in the military for 5 years, and I can tell you right now, authoritarian leadership is not the way to go. It's like, it's like, do this. Why? Because I said that's why. Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's not. What branch were you in?
I was in the Navy. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Did you come to Illinois for?
Yeah, Great Lakes.
Yeah, that's where. I mean, if you go to the military here, that's where everybody goes.
Are you far from there?
Great Lakes is probably 2 hours for me. I'm like, well, I'm right here in like the very center of the state, and this is like Chicago Great Lakes right here.
Okay, yeah. All I know about Great Lakes is when I stepped off that bus, I was like, what in the hell have I done to myself?
Oh, no. Oh, no, not fun.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I was in for 5 years, and that was the reason I got out, was because I was just like, all right, well, these people are telling me what to do, and I can do that, and I was fine with that, but they couldn't tell me why they were telling me what to do. You know what I mean? Like, go clean something or something. And I was like, well, why? Just because I said so.
Okay. Yeah, that top-down situation is
very hierarchical.
Yeah. Kind of that pressure to be at the bottom, that sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. But. All right, shall we move on to the next one?
Sure. It says, in what ways do some leaders seem successful at pleasing bosses yet not effective, according to the definition above? What does that mean? So I think that kind of, I take that as like, if your boss is a yes man or a yes woman, where they just kind of, if their boss is like, I need you to do this, this, and this, and they're like, okay, yeah, we can do it for sure, 100%, without really actually taking that into consideration, whether or not you can do that. We have a few managers that do that, and it puts us in a bad spot because then we can't deliver. And I feel like that's what that's kind of pointing at. That's one thing I think would be is successful at pleasing bosses yet not effective.
Yeah, I think that definitely hits the nail on the head.
Yeah, if you step on people to get upper management's objectives done, you're not a leader either. You know, you can't screw people over that work under you because your bosses want you to deliver something specific. Okay, yeah, I'll get it done, and then you just make a bunch of people work overtime or tell them that they have to.
Right.
There's a lot of that in our distribution center up here, where people will be told like an hour before their shift is over, well, we're working mandatory overtime. Like, you got people with overnight babysitters and families that can't just at the snap of a finger go and say, hey, can you keep my kid for another 2 or 3 hours? Like,
right.
Or they have spouses in the morning that have to get to their job and they have one car. Like, you just can't force things on people, and I do see a lot of that where I'm at. These supervisors are being told by upper management, we need to get this done and we need to do it in this budget and this time frame, and then they just kind of shit rolls downhill. So pardon my French, but they end up screwing over the workers that are there busting their butts to get it done, and it's just not fair. So
yeah, I totally agree.
So it says, this paper says, give 2 or 3 examples from fiction, TV, film, or your own experiences. I was trying to think of some kind of example from not real life, but I can't really think of anything.
Have you seen Office Space?
I haven't. Everybody always makes references to that, but I get the gist of it. Like, we're gonna need you to stay late or something.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna need you to
Go ahead and
just work Saturday.
Hmm.
And that's like, I'm sure that boss was told by his boss that this needed to be done or whatever.
Right. Well, so I'm in workforce management, which means that I kind of support the scheduling and the hiring and all that kind of stuff for all of our contact centers, which is about like 16,000 people, and all across the country. We're slowly like kind of scaling those. So we have a lot of mandatory overtime that the operation tells us that we have to enforce, but we are the ones that kind of have to give the message. So we're definitely put in that position where it's like, oh, this is terrible, but you have to work 4 hours this week. Like, figure it out. So that's kind of how I feel in this class almost. Like, you have to find an hour where one works days, one works nights, and one works weekends. Like, figure it out. So
different time zones.
I honestly, I think we are the least compatible group there has to be in the whole class. At least I would hope not everybody else is having to do this at 8 o'clock on a Friday or Saturday evening.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
I had a professor before go over. He would say, you know, everybody write their schedules, and then he or she, I can't remember who it was, they would put people in groups according to what schedule they worked. And I didn't have any scheduling issues with anybody on the team.
Yeah.
This was kind of like a hope and a prayer kind of a thing.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it's the first semester that she's doing it, so maybe if we provide some feedback, that would be a better option.
Right.
And maybe start these in week 2 or something.
Honestly, I want to say I read something in her team instructions that said we're not really required to meet like by an hour. Hold on, let me try and find it.
I think I saw that too. It said something along the lines of she's not necessarily going to make us meet every single week.
Okay, so in future weeks, I'll give you some other options as well, so you won't have to call one another every single week unless it's more convenient to you all. But yes, you have to do it.
Yeah, I saw that too. And honestly, I mean, I think we all kind of agree. If that means we have to have several pages of notes for any other kind of option, I think I prefer this.
Yeah.
Not that it's that great, but anyway, okay, let's stay focused. It does say to stay focused. Easy points, I guess. I don't know that I have much else for that one, but we still have a half an hour, so
yeah. It says success and effectiveness need not be at odds.
So maybe would success be someone like continuing to move up the ladder, but not necessarily being a true effective leader? Is that what that means?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Let's see.
It could be, okay, so if upper management has certain objectives or metrics that they need to meet, and you have a team of like middle management, supervisors and stuff that are like, okay, what can we do to get this done? So they're, I guess, struggling to get those deliverables to their upper management, but they're not really effective at carrying it out. Like, they're saying, okay, maybe we could be successful in putting this together, but when they actually go to roll it out, like, it might look good on paper, but not effective when it's actually implemented. That could be some kind of interpretation.
I think a lot of the things that we've talked about here are parallels to project management. If you guys took any of those classes, you probably did, because I did too.
Which one?
Heck if I know. It's been so long.
What was the thing you're saying?
Just how like some of these like being successful but not effective is the same in leadership as it is in what I learned in project management classes.
Mhm.
Like it because it's there's still kind of a bit of leadership there, and project management is really where I think like my heart lies. But State Farm is getting rid of project managers, so I guess that's not where I'm gonna get to go. But
At least with State Farm.
yeah, at least with State Farm for sure. So I guess it's like an example is you still have leaders. Like a project manager is a leader, but not necessarily holding a leadership role where they have direct reports and they have to kind of delegate things appropriately. And so where I think especially between the difference between successful and effective from a project management standpoint is saying like this deliverable will take us 6 months to do, knowing that you will actually get it done in 2 months, but you've got like that much of wiggle room. And then you're successful, but not really effective because you're probably not planning according to what like the true time allotment is going to be. So I see that a lot where people are like, oh yeah, that'll take me 3 weeks, and then they're done in like a week, and but haven't told me that they're done, and I'm like, I know your deliverable is done.
So is that
That's a little bit of social loafing right there, I think, too.
Yeah.
So I think I take it as leadership effective. How can leadership effectiveness actually reinforce leadership success? So I think leadership's all about influencing people and making and motivating and training and giving opportunities to people. Yeah. And I think if you're being a good leader, you're doing all those things, that success will just kind of, it will just come. It will just kind of like, it will just happen.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you think about it. Yeah. I mean, we kind of took it the opposite way first, but that should be the natural progression of things. If you're an effective leader, you should be a successful leader in most cases.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because you're the people that you're leading are motivated and they understand that there's opportunities and you're investing in their success. So.
Yeah. I really like actually the way that you phrase that, because you're not necessarily sorry, talking about the deliverables, but what you said specifically was talking about developing your people, which is really what a leader is versus a boss. So
right.
I don't know if that's how you meant it, but that's a great way to look at it for sure.
So you can have success without effectiveness, but you can't really have effectiveness without success with it.
So they're interdependent, but they're not interchangeable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that we talked in my other class in strategic management. He wanted to know the difference between a manager and a leader.
Yeah.
And then we were like talking about like, well, managers, like if you go and get your business management degree, your Bachelor of Science business degree, it's all about like the bottom line, and it's all about schedule, and it's all about stakeholders and stockholders, really. And leadership is kind of like that's still a thing. You still worry about those things, but you still have to. It's like the art of influence, right? And motivation, like we talked about earlier. So I don't know where I was going with that. But.
Well, I mean, you were going with influence, and I'm sure influencing your direct reports or subordinates or whatever you want to call them.
Right.
And that's actually in my role, we have different job levels, and the descriptions get closer and closer to leadership as you kind of get up. And essentially, when you are effectively influencing the decisions of others, that's like you're really close to leadership, if not like a true leader. Sure. So it's influence, educate, and advise. And you start at educate, and then you move up to advise, and then like the top tier is influence. So you've gained the trust of those people, and they want to listen to you and trust you in a way that they know that they're in good hands. Certainly something I'd want people to think of me when I'm in a leadership position.
I guess you got to think about who you like I'm sure we all have those managers that are all around us every single day that we work, right? And there's ones that we admire and want to be like, and there's ones that we don't want to be like.
Yeah.
What are the ones that we want to be like? What are their attributes? What are their characteristics? What are their moral values? Things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think the one that definitely comes to mind is the one that I open-doored yesterday. You guys know what open door is?
You just walk in their office, say, "I need to talk to you."
Basically, like it's kind of like I mean, that's the literal description, yes. But it's like a State Farm policy that you are allowed to basically go to anyone in leadership and talk about anything. So they have to, they can't tell you no, basically. So I open doored. His name is Dave. He's awesome. He's probably the number one leader that I look up to as far as effectiveness of a leader. And I've seen him grow in that role over the last 6 years because we've been in the same department the whole time. And with him, he has a strong faith, but it doesn't really cross the boundaries. But it's enough of his foundation that he treats everybody with kindness and respect and all of that, and without even bringing religion into it, would be something that I hope that I can do and make people feel like if they were to choose who they need to talk to about whatever the heck it is, that it would be me, that they would be most comfortable talking to me rather than being nervous or apprehensive or whatever. I want to make people feel welcome, and I want people to feel like I'm truly there to listen and care and all that.
Yeah, that's great. That's a good policy to have.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I've never really heard that used. I feel like, at least with the supervisor that I get to work with, and he's not really my direct report, but I have to work with him. He's kind of, I guess, encourages that, but it's not really called like open door, but I feel like I can talk to him about anything. Awesome person. Like I kind of mentioned earlier, like he's one of those people that just started at the bottom and worked his way all the way up. So he has that trust and that respect from the people that he leads, who've done the work. He can go out there and help them troubleshoot and actually work with them and, watch their line if we're shorthanded and do the work for them while they take a break. And he just goes out of his way to put people first.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about this saying? I had a manager tell me one time, and I really like this manager, but I didn't agree with it. And he said, "My job isn't to know your job, it's to manage." And
it's so true, though.
Is that true?
It is. So
I feel like he should know some of my job.
So yeah, the basic functions of your job, yes. So I'll give you the other side of that coin, because so my group has like 6 managers that's above it, and we've got one leader that doesn't really know a whole heck of a lot about our job, but knows struggles that we go through, the things we worry about, and tries to move any kind of boulders or blocks or any kind of bottlenecking. But then we've got one who's way in the weeds, and she knows every single thing that we do, and it cares way too much about things that she doesn't get paid to care about. She doesn't develop her people because she's too worried about the little tiny details of our job. Whereas this guy is the one that develops them the most because he has more time to actually develop his people. So I agree with you that yes, they should understand the basic functions of our job, but if they're spending so much time caring about our job, then they don't have enough time to do the rest of the stuff that actually makes them a leader.
That makes sense.
Industry dependent, though. I think in different contexts that could change quickly. It depends on what you're applying it to, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, probably. And you guys are, it sounds like to me at least, more on the front line of production stuff, and I'm on the back end. I do the back office things, so could definitely be a little bit different in just our experiences. But we have 2 very opposite examples in my direct leaders. So.
Okay. All right. I think we got enough time to move on to Malala.
Yeah, Malala. Did you guys know about Malala before this class?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
A little bit.
I think I knew most what I had seen on like Ellen.
Ellen. Stephen
'Cause
Colbert.
she's been on there, I think, twice. Okay, so let's see. At the risk of raising dark clouds on or raining on anyone's parade, let's, for the purposes of this discussion only, imagine that Malala might not be very successful at changing the world within the next few years. In other words, imagine if Malala might be deemed a successful leader, an unsuccessful leader by some measures. Why then should she struggle onward if she cannot win?
Passion. My God.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
You have a true
Yeah, I mean,
for something. You don't care if you don't win all the time. You're just happy doing it.
Yeah. I think.
yeah, and she's fighting for so many people. She's not fighting just for herself, and she's fighting for all those. I think she said it was like 60 million children that don't get an education because of poverty and war and stuff.
Yeah, and especially girls, which I think was close to home for her in wherever she was from. I cannot remember now. But that girls weren't educated. The boys could and would, but not. It doesn't even sound like they go to school for very long, but that the girls really don't traditionally. So I think it's really interesting that we brought up Malala in this first week, which probably wasn't by design, but with all the other kind of gun-related incidents going on specifically around schools. I just thought that was really interestingly timed. And not that I've had much time to really look up how she feels about the things that have been going on specific to the U.S. I just kind of wonder what she would do here with what we have going on.
That's true. I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay, so back to the actual question. I don't even think I can top your answer, Krista. It's like
Passion.
it's that like if you do something you love, then you never work a day in your life or something kind of thing. Like even if you're not good at it, but you just keep doing it. If that's what you're passionate about, then maybe eventually you will be good at it, or maybe you won't, and you're just a happy human being.
Let's take it to a context of, are there managers that you've seen that have really, really just tried their hardest to make something happen with good faith for their followers, and they failed to do so?
Absolutely, totally have. I think would
you hold that against them? I don't think any of us would, and I don't think that the world would hold her. I don't even know if they would hold her as like that it was a failure, because she tried and she really worked hard at it.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you're not damaging people. I mean, there's a difference. If you do something you love and you're just not very successful, but you just like it, you'll do it. But if you start actually leading people in a way or damaging people's futures or credibility or whatever else, anything damaging and unsuccessful is just not okay. But if you're just not really successful, but you enjoy it, who cares? Do it.
I would agree. And I think that same I don't know, idea could translate to so many other things, not even just being a leader. I mean, be a good human and then, don't hurt anybody. And everybody should leave you alone. But so I think so a specific example would be like a first-time leader I had. He was brand new to role. It was his first time ever having direct reports, and he went straight for authoritarian, and it was a bad time. It did not go well.
It was a bloodbath.
Oh no, it was so bad. It was so bad, and I mean, I'm a rule follower. I'm a pretty good kid. I don't really stir the pot, and he would get me in trouble all the time. And I was like, this is just so unusual. I'm never in trouble.
Yeah.
And through the years, he ended up being my boss for 3.5 years. And at the end of it, he was like a completely different dude. So he really had a lot of developing to do, but eventually he got there. But I was like, man, this is not your gig. This is just not for you. So eventually he figured it out.
So it says here, we have to back up our answers with examples, evidence, and arguments in which you cite/mention one or two sources from.
Oh, okay, let's see.
Did you guys watch the YouTube videos?
No.
So in the video, she's accepting like a nomination for the Nobel Prize. I can't remember if it was a nomination
I've
or.
seen that video. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so she basically talks about like, she wants to emphasize the whole time that this really isn't about her, but she is the voice of, it's not her voice that people should be listening to. Her voice is the voice of the 60 million children that don't have an education.
Yeah.
And I think that was a really powerful moment, because it just shows you that, yeah, she's up there and she's getting all the attention, but she really doesn't necessarily want the attention, but she wants to use her position and her fame for good. She wants to use it as a platform, right?
Yeah. And I think that's a huge part of being a leader, is being humble and being able to, even if you like something as simple as delegating a task to one of your direct reports, if you are sending that back up to leadership, then you say, hey, Sam did this for us. Like, look at this great work that my direct report did. Like, that reflects on you as a leader for being humble and not taking credit, but also for you as a leader as developing that person. So I think that translates pretty nicely. And I think being humble is definitely something that a lot of people lack, unfortunately.
Selflessness.
What'd you say?
Selflessness.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I can't say that there's anybody that's practiced that much more than someone that got shot in the face and kept going forward. So
yeah. And her parents, not only that, like her parents were like, they were telling her, you know, about how important education was, and think about how hard that was. I don't know, like I wrote this in the discussion board. I was like, if I lived in that area and my daughter was kicked out of school and there was Taliban or terrorists around, I wouldn't know if I would tell her to speak out against them. I would probably tell her, be quiet, don't stir the pot, right? But they were like, you need to make sure that you're always standing up for what you believe in, no matter what. And they told her that, and she did, and you know that, and all that happened.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Which again brings up the same point of what's going on right now. Like the 14th was walkout day, and there was such a divide in our country on who supported walkout and who didn't. And I think personally, I supported walkout because it is instilling in our children how to be leaders and stand up for what they believe in. And it was peaceful, and nobody got hurt or anything like that. And I know that a lot of people disagreed, and like, what is that going to accomplish and whatever. And there's a lot of things we do that don't accomplish anything. Like several courses I've taken have done nothing for me, but I had to do it.
Did you guys take, I was going to ask you, did you take leadership in film? Have you taken that one?
No. I didn't.
Oh, don't take it.
Oh, no. I even looked through my course schedule, and I did not take that strategic management class you guys are talking about.
Really?
Unless it's been, like, renamed since I took it.
Wait, it might not be called strategic management. It's OGL 355.
That's not even in my course load. I never took it.
I think it should have been strategic management, but it's like innovation.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's innovation and something or other.
It should have been strategic management, because that's basically what it's all about. I mean, the material was pretty interesting in that class. If you've got questions about any of the assignments.
Oh, okay. It's leading organizational innovation. Yeah.
No, it must have been added or something. There must be some kind of equal that I took, because it's not in my course load. I looked at it.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I just don't like the professor.
That's a struggle. Who is it again?
Dr. Scholar.
I have no idea who that is.
So when our professor watches this, and that's her buddy that sits next to him in the office,
Oh no. Okay, we'll stop talking about it then.
It's all right.
Oh man, yeah, no. The professor does make all the difference.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, do we have maybe one more example so that we check that box for that one? Did it say how many we had to have? One or two sources. Oh, you talked about the YouTube video.
Yeah, we're good.
Ellen,
I
I
think
wonder
we
if
got
Ellen
like 6
counts.
more minutes.
Yes. All right. So we must fill up our entire hour, a feat that is actually quite easy to do in the real world. So either delve further into your various autobiographical statements. Oh yeah. I did it. I did read both of yours. I think it was a few days ago. I don't remember a whole lot. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Krista, I know that your mom was really young when she had you. That stood out to me. 15. Oh my goodness gracious. And I was really sad to see about the teacher that like gave you shit for not having a dad for your Father's Day card.
Who does that?
That was really mean. I grew up in a Catholic school and I was the only kid with divorced parents, so I got a little bit of that, but it was nothing like that.
Yeah, it was a trip. Like, you don't know what to think at 8 years old, you know? You're just like, I don't have a dad. Like, that's all you know.
Yeah.
You don't know why, really. You can't understand why. But when you have a teacher going, well, what do you mean you don't have a dad? Everyone has a dad. Like,
yeah. Oh gosh. Oh, that's a bummer. I'm sorry.
yeah.
So you, I think you were born in Southern California.
Yeah. Kelly born.
And now you're in Nevada.
Can you give yourself credit for?
Oh well, I try. It's kind of coming back to me now. I remember that only because my husband was, well, he's from Northern California, but he was born in San Jose. So
yeah, it's awesome.
I read one. I can't remember the guy's name. Maybe it was James or something. And he kind of had like a rags to riches story where he ended up, some guy that he worked with started his own company and like wanted him to come with, so he went with and ended up being like the vice president of the company. And
really?
And then he quit. I can't remember where he went after that, but I was sitting next to my husband like, well, listen to this guy's story. And he had like one guy, you know, we had to talk about like people that influenced our lives or whatever. And this guy's name was Tony, I think. And he, like, the whole paper was about Tony and all the things that he did for him, which I think is really cool.
Wow. I wonder if his name was James.
I think his name was James, yeah.
I think I might have him in my other class if it's the same James.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't read your guys's. I'm sorry. I probably...
Oh, how rude. I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry. I don't know if I read them. I read a bunch. I can't remember.
You know what I remember of yours, Wes, was that yours was first.
Oh, yeah.
The first one in there.
You guys are lucky to have me as a teammate. I'm telling you.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, and I remember that your grandpa's name was Lee, because that's my middle name, and like
Grandpa
it's a
Lee, yeah.
big family name.
How do you spell it?
Huh?
How do you spell the Lee?
L-E.
L-E-E, yep.
I'm
The right way.
L-E-I-G-H. I'm Lee.
My cousin is also L-E-I-G-H. My my mom, my grandma, my great aunt, myself, my daughter, we're all Lee middle name.
You want to know what his middle name was?
Grandpa Lee's middle name?
Yeah, it was Lee. His first name was Lee, and his middle name was D. D-E-E.
What?
I swear.
Lee, yeah. D. Was he a Lloyd? Or was he a Little?
He was Lloyd, yeah. Lee D. Lloyd.
Lee D.
So it kind of
Lloyd.
sounded like they were just like hyphening his middle name or something, but it was really D-E-E.
Wow.
So,
there you go.
Yeah, he was a trip.
That's so cool. That's
he was a World War II veteran, and he fought in Pacific, and he got shot because he was like they have this section in between the battle lines where it's called No Man's Land, basically.
Oh yeah, that's on Band of Brothers or something.
Yeah, and so he went out there to get one of the guys that got shot, and then on the way, like grabbing him and on turning around, he got shot in his butt. I swear, it was like Forrest Gump. And
oh no!
yeah, so then he gets discharged, and I have his like discharge papers, and it looks like the Declaration of Independence, like it's all old and brown and like wrinkly. And it says so on there, cool. Yeah, it says condition upon release or discharge, very poor. So they just like patched him up and like said, all right.
Oh no! So did he end up?
Like, went and got his law degree. He had a law degree and he was in the CIA.
Wow. Yeah, he said keep your head in the books or something.
Yeah. He was always like, you just keep your head in the books, keep your head in the books. And like he sent me a watch so I would never be late. Like he was.
Oh my gosh! What a cool dude.
He was cool, but he was super serious. He didn't really have a sense of humor, but he was all about, he was just a serious guy.
Yeah, he sounds like my brother-in-law. He's in the Army. He actually is finishing up as the I wish I could remember what he is. Something that you can only really do for 18 months because it like wears you out.
It's like special forces, probably.
He's a captain. Whatever is above that. What? Don't know. Anyway, he did pretty well for himself. He's only been in for like 5 years and gets a promotion like every 8 months or something.
Yeah.
He just got home from Kuwait, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're at our time.
You do it?
So, yep.
Right on.
Not too. You guys were dreading it so bad.
I was really dreading it.
I could tell. This isn't that bad. It's better than writing a bunch of papers.
It is.
I'll go ahead and stop the broadcast, and then I'll send you guys the link in the Google Hangouts that we were talking in.
Right on.
And then that link, you should just be able to drop that into.
I think it's an email.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're right. There's a
submission box, but we could just put it in there as a text, not an actual hyperlink. But you guys got the email I sent, right? Asking her if one person's submitting for us all.
Yeah, so she wants us all to, I think.
Yeah, we all have to. Even though it's going to be the same. I hope we weren't all supposed to record this.
Well, she was saying that she doesn't want us to necessarily. I think that it said that we all have to do it this week, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to all submit it in the next weeks to come.
Yeah. All right. Well, until next time.
Bye.
Bye.